Hey everybody, I'm Soph. This is Rich. You're probably wondering why it's just me. Anybody who's not on any of our socials would probably wonder why it's just me. Um, Unfortunately, my lovely co-host Rich, he's actually in hospital at the moment, and he's probably gonna be in there anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. We did always say we would never do the show with anybody else, and we stand by that. What we meant was long term we wouldn't find any other co-hosts, which is true. um and we had a meeting over the weekend, and we didn't want to not do the show at all because we didn't want to lose fans, subscribers, followers. Obviously we worked really hard on the show, so we want to keep it going. But I don't I don't want another co-host. I also don't want to do it on my own, so it's a bit about what do we do. So we came to the conclusion that rather than having a Friday show and a Sunday show for the next 4 to 6 weeks while Rich isn't here, I'll just do one show a week, which will be on a Sunday. And I'll have a different guest on every week. A, to keep me company, B, to keep the show going, and yeah, C, so you don't get sick of me. I know everyone has sent so many messages of love and support and prayers for Rich. I can't tell you any more than that, to be fair, because it's not my place or my story to tell as regards to what's happened. Just know that he is okay. He does have his phone with him if you know him on a personal level, and he does have access to all of our social media. So if anybody wants to send him a message, do feel free. I mean, I know a couple of you have messaged him already, and he may not have replied yet. He will get back to you at some point. Just bear with him. But also, if we could just ask, or I could ask, that you just respect him and give him a little bit of space. When he's back, we are going to do a serious Sunday show, and he's going to talk to me, talk to you guys, let you all know what's been happening with him, just because, we don't want to keep you in the dark. But like I said, it's not my place or my story to tell his story. But just know that he is fine. He's grateful for the messages he's had so far. And yeah, he's doing okay. So unfortunately, just got a little bobblehead of Rich for the time being. I have thought about getting a life-size cutout, to be fair, and I haven't undecided whether I'm going to do that or not, but sounds like the way to go. So anyway, let's just have a quick rundown. This week in the UK, weather is still in blazing squad. Yeah, I've been working, I've been doing some stuff in the home. Alfie's had homework. We've been doing that. What else has happened? Today is Ukrainian Easter, so I went to my Uncle Fester's for a barbecue. That was really nice. So happy Easter to family and friends far and wide. Ukraine, we had a video call. That was really nice to catch up with family. Actually, we haven't seen them for 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. And yeah, my second cousin's just had a baby. Katya's just had her first baby, little boy. So I saw him. That was really nice. In the news, the main story is basically our lovely Prime Minister has been in the news because he's apparently said that instead of having a third lockdown, just let the bodies pile up. Now, that is what I quote he's been found saying. So, I mean, good old USA managed to get their bell end of a president out. We've still got ours. I know he's not a president, he's a prime minister, but we've still unfortunately got ours in charge of the country. So who knows what's going to happen there. So that's been in the news. Also, celebrity news, the star of Bulletproof and oh my god, I can't remember what he's in this new thing called Viewpoint. Noel Clarke has been accused of bullying, sexual harassment. So literally Monday he had a BAFTA TV award by Friday they took it back off of him, saying that until all of this stuff is sorted or looked into, then he couldn't have it. The last episode of his recent show got cancelled on Friday. I feel sorry for him, and I don't want to believe it because I do really like him, and I'm going with innocent until proven guilty. I know that, well, the papers are definitely stringing him up like a kipper, which I think is wrong. I'm not saying don't tell people that's what's occurring, but it's wrong to stitch someone up like that. If he, who knows if he's innocent. 20 women have come forward. I'm not saying there ain't smoke without fire, but you can't hang someone out to dry until you know the facts. So, yeah, I'm on the fence about that one. I don't want to believe it, but yeah. Anyway, back to today's show. We have got Ro coming on the show. He is a food blogger, a fashion blogger, and I feel really bad because Rich has been waiting for him to come on the show for ages so we can talk food. So he's on the show today, but he is going to be on again at a later date because it would only be fair. So let me see if I can get him into the room. Where is he? Ba, 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 ba. Oh, there we go.
How's it going?
Look at you looking all trim. So just explain to everybody that I just gave him a brief overview, really, that you're a food blogger and a fashion blogger, but I want you to give us a little introduction about who you are and what you do.
All right. Hey, guys. I'm Ro. I have had a big interest in food from a very young age, which also couples with fashion in a very kind of bizarre way, but it works.
Is that because when you've eaten too much, you can't fit your clothes on, right?
Or you don't eat too much so you can fit into your clothes.
I've been getting it wrong.
Way one. Yeah. So I think for me, the whole food thing started from a really, really young age. Being, just in a family with my mum, dad, and my brother, it's not like it was forced upon us. It was more like we had an interest in watching our parents cook and like standing around in the kitchen, which is kind of, I don't know, is that unheard of for young boys especially?
Well, most of the chefs are men nowadays, but I also was just saying before we carry on, like, I feel really bad because Richard was so excited about you coming on the show. Like, he's been going on about it forever. So when he's better, you're going to have to come back on the show again because both me and him are big foodies. So like this was a big thing and he's missing it. So we're going to have to do a rerun again. But I mean, he did give me some questions to ask you. So I'm all fired up from both sides of the pond.
Let's go.
Okay, so you do food and fashion. I personally think they're two of the best Fs in life.
Yep.
Which do you prefer, food or fashion?
Food. It's got to be food. I remember once one of my mates said to me, I don't live to eat. I don't eat to live. I live to eat. And it is so poignant about me. It just makes so much sense. Like I've almost got an unhealthy habit of going out and eating in like nice restaurants.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie. I should have explained to people that we've known each other for a while, nearly 20 years, and food is life, right? That's how you think. That's how I think. We've never met up and food has not been in the mix at any point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do eat in some fancy places.
Yeah, I think I've been privileged, enough to be able to eat in some nice restaurants. I look at the world's best restaurant list as a sport, to be honest. And every time I travel, again, which I've been privileged enough to do quite widely, I do make sure I book well in advance one of that city or that country's Michelin star restaurants. And for me, it's about the culture. It's about experiencing not just the culture in that country through other means, but food is like one of the biggest cultures you can experience of a country that you're visiting. So yeah, it's been good, but that doesn't mean that I only eat in high-end places. I love
No.
Nando's and KFC as much as anyone.
But like you saying about going to Michelin star restaurants and stuff, do you think food is one of those things where you get what you pay for?
No, absolutely not. Because I've been in a situation before where I've paid, £300 to £400 per head, and they might have 3 stars, but the food has been so average, and they rely on the theatrics rather than what's actually on the plate. The flavors and the cooking styles and techniques. So no, it's not. It's not about you kind of pay for what you get. It comes with experience. You know who the good chefs are, not just by their reputation, but actually experiencing their food. And if you enjoy it, then going back.
What's your best cuisine? Like, from which country are we talking is your best
Thailand.
food? Thailand?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
I just love Thai food. It's got everything in terms of sweet, savory, spicy, creamy. It's hitting all the different kind of flavor notes on your palate. And I started really liking Thai food and cooking it when I was at uni. So about 15, 16 years ago. And I think at uni was when my palate started developing quite a lot, because I could cook. But eating out in all these restaurants, which I couldn't really afford back then, I think that's
Yeah,
also
most uni students, don't they eat pot noodles and beans on toast?
I think that's a bit of a myth now as well, to be fair.
Mhm.
Because I mean, funnily enough, especially when I was living in halls with other lads and girls, it was always the guys that could cook and wouldn't make an effort to. The girls wouldn't cook at all, and I found that a constant over 3 to 4 years. Very few girls that I knew could cook well.
So we done a show a little while ago about men versus women and gender roles and stuff. You don't feel
Yeah.
the same as regards to when it comes to cooking, like a woman should cook, like the old fashioned caveman way, woman
Oh
belongs in
no.
the kitchen.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think times have moved on so fast that I don't think even men look at it that way anymore. That a woman's place is the kitchen. I think a lot of men now find it quite interesting, quite therapeutic to cook, and that's exactly what it is for me. It's not about the end product; it's about the process as well. It is quite fascinating what you can make out of different ingredients.
So if you lived with someone, say a female, and she wanted to cook, do you think that you would be critical of her food, like her cooking?
I will be, and I have been. Yeah. But not to the point where I'm like, oh, this is a pile of shit. It's more so, right, if it's lacking salt or any kind of spice, it depends on what it's meant to be. Rather than oh, here's a spaghetti bolognese, but it's actually some sort of, I don't know, curry in the end or something. I
See,
don't know
now
why.
I don't like anyone in the kitchen when I'm cooking, and I think that boils down to whenever my mum would come round, right? If I was cooking, everything's under control. If I turn my back for a second and turn round, she's turned everything down on the cooker and
Yeah.
everything's changed. And I'm like, just get out. So now I don't like anybody in the kitchen when I cook. Are you the same, or you don't really mind?
No, I like help. Don't get me wrong, I like help, but well, I don't think I am so badly anymore, but I definitely used to be a control freak. And that carries through into the kitchen because yeah, the kitchen's kind of sacred. And I like help in terms of people, I don't know, cutting or chopping things for me, but around the stove, just don't touch anything, you know. If I've got it under control, then fine. If I ask for help, then that's something else. That's also a bad thing though. I don't really ask for help that often.
Are you a messy cooker, like, or do you clean up as you go?
I try and clean up as I go along, but I also have been known to use every single pot, pan, utensil that I have in cooking something.
Nice. And what's been your Most successful dish that you've cooked, would you say?
I don't know. Been cooking for so long. I'll tell you what I did try recently, which is on my Instagram page. It's I reverse seared some Cote de Boeuf steaks.
What they what he's
Cote de Boeuf. So it's
Cock the buff.
yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Cock in the buff.
So basically, it's a tomahawk steak, if you like. It's a big ribeye, a thick piece of ribeye with a bone in, and each
clues in the title.
Get your mind out the gutter, Soph. And yeah, quite expensive cuts of meat, so you want to make sure that you do them justice. And I bought 2 of them firstly at Christmas, because that was like a Boxing Day meal for my family. And they turned out really well, but I did it the traditional way then. I sear it in a hot pan or a griddle pan over, high heat, and then into the oven for about 20 minutes to get that kind of medium rare finish. But this time round, because we're kind of in barbecue weather right now, last weekend I tried out reverse searing it. So that is just basically turning the process on its head, doing it backwards. So cooking it on indirect heat over, like on the barbecue grill, but away from the coal. So it's not directly over the coal. Close the lid so the hot air is still circulating, but it's going to cook at a slower pace. Then the most important thing that I found over the years is don't mess around with meat, especially beef. In terms of cooking timing, it's all about the internal temperature. So invest in a good thermometer and use it periodically through the cooking of your meat. And it turned out really nicely after about, I think it was around 45, 50 minutes, but I can't be sure because a few beers were involved at that point too. And went and checked, it was just about hitting 120, 126 degrees Fahrenheit. Took it off, wrapped it in foil for about 15, 20 minutes, lit some fresh coal. Once that was burning nicely, poured it in, steaks back over the hot coal, 2 to 3 sides each minute. Perfect.
I'm feeling hungry. Geez. So, are we ever going to see you on MasterChef?
Well, never say never. It's something that I've wanted to do. You know what? I should have done it like 15 years ago, honestly, when the competition wasn't even that good. And I think a lot of people will agree with me when I say that, because back then it wasn't good. Like, people were going on the show cooking omelets and stuff. But now the bar is very high. The bar is ridiculously high. Like, people are clearly, they don't just do it to eat, they do it as a hobby. And practice makes perfect at the end of the day. And I think, especially in the last year during lockdown, a lot of people have either attempted something new or they've just perfected that cooking, their skills, because, well, let's face it, you've had to, haven't you?
Well, yeah, there was no eating out or takeaways at one point, so.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's something that I would like to do. I'd be kind of mortified if I went out in the first round. So.
Oh my God, that's never going to happen. Come on.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, so before we get on to the next subject, let me just ask you a few quick fire questions. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably it can consist of anything on the plate.
Anything, but you've got to eat the same thing every day.
Okay, all right. A medium rare ribeye steak with a Thai green curry sauce and a few chicken wings on the side.
So basically a plate of meat with sauce. Yes, a man after my own heart, meat and sauce.
What else can you ask for?
Are you sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Ooh, not sweet at all, or?
I'm very good at making sweet things and desserts. I used to have a little kind of cake business about 10 years ago. So baking comes quite naturally to me. I think I get that from my mum. But no, I'm not big on eating sweet stuff.
Okay. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Dinner.
And what about supper or 11s? Would you chuck them in there as well?
I don't even know what supper is. I feel like people I feel like people just throw that word
Supper's
around.
literally like what you eat. Say you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then like dinner time's normally 5, 6, ain't it? So if then like 8 o'clock you got a bit peckish, then you'd have like a mini supper.
No, I wasn't brought up like that.
No.
For me, it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything in between. Then you better be careful not to put on any weight. That's
Okay. Chicken or beef?
oh God. I go through patches when I get bored of chicken, so I'm gonna say beef.
Okay. Cooking dinner in or eating out?
Eating out, definitely. It's got to be, and that might be based on a year of being forced to cook all the time. But yeah, right now, eating out.
Has there ever been a point during your food blogging experience that you've just wanted to chuck it in and say, do you know what, I can't be bothered with this anymore?
Yes, and that has nothing to do with the cooking side of things, if you like. It's more kind of a materialistic kind of shallow way of looking at the platform of like Instagram or social media in terms of trying to grow your following and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I started looking at it from a very simplistic point of view of I enjoy what I do. It's not just about the cooking. Even if I go out or get a really good takeaway, if I want to take a photo of it and tell people about it, because I love to review things. I'm a very big reviewer on TripAdvisor, and I've had different blogs in the past 10, 15 years as well. So I enjoy writing, and it's just one of those things that when you strip it back and it just becomes about the subject's material, then it becomes enjoyable again.
Nice. So you know what? I was so in the moment of listening to you there. It's totally chucked me off. Okay, so have you ever gone to a restaurant, eaten, it's not been up to standard, you've complained, and they've given you it for free?
Oh, no. And I think, some people might disagree with me, but I think, the kind of person that I am, I wouldn't even accept it for free unless it was terrible, right? Like if there was like glass in my plate or something. I don't know.
Well, that's just a joke.
Yeah, exactly. But no, but there has been instances where large portions of a bill have been wiped off.
Okay.
Yeah, and that would be rightly so if something was completely like really bad, cold, or just inedible.
Do you think that people don't complain enough in restaurants?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
Because they don't want to cause a fuss. They don't want to cause a fuss. And you know what it is? What I found, especially in my family, the person that wants to complain, the person that's eating or has a problem with their plate of food, they're always held back by someone else at the table. There's always someone else at their table saying, stop it, you're causing a fuss, or, oh, here we go again, or something like that. And then they're forced into not enjoying their food, but still paying for it. And I can't imagine anything worse.
No, I genuinely think that is a case of, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a stickler, right? Wherever I go, I stick to the same dish every single time, right? But then if I was to go with someone else, say me and you we went to an Italian. I'm telling you for a fact I'm eating lasagna, right? Because I know that tastes nice. If you then ordered something different, I'd say, oh, can I taste yours? And if I tasted it and it tasted nice, then that gets added to the list. That means, okay, I can have that next time because it's nice. because I don't want to be in the situation of, like, people always say, try something different, try something new. And I'm like, but if you try something new and you don't like it, A, you've got to pay for it. B, you're still hungry. And C, you're going to have to pay for something else anyway to curb your hunger. So no, same stickler for the same dish, me.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. And I do understand it from that point of view for someone like you, but not I've never been like that. Like from a young age, you know, we were just kind of exposed to all sorts of food. And we were also made to believe, don't be fussy. The amount of times it was drummed into us, there are starving children in the world.
I know. My mum used to say that. If you used to say, she would never let you leave the table until you'd eaten all your dinner, right? And she'd be saying, there's children starving in Africa that would die for that food. You're going to eat it, you know?
Yeah. And to be fair, like, I've seen pictures of me as a toddler, as a kid. I've seen home videos, and I am just gobbling, guzzling everything that everyone's throwing at me. Doesn't matter what it is, like, you know, milk, bottles of milk, or just anything spicy. I think that's where my love of spice comes from. I was eating chili food, Indian food from a very young age as well. So yeah, I think that's where the tolerance and just, I think, the appreciation, the palate of all types of foods, flavors, everything. Obviously, there are one or two things that I'm skeptical of, and things that crawl, I don't want to eat those. I don't care.
Oh, you wouldn't do any of those I'm a Celebrity challenges, food challenges?
No, I don't even watch that show because of that. No, can't do that.
So you wouldn't eat like a sheep's testicle or you know, a lamb's eye?
Okay, so I've eaten those types of things cooked.
Why?
Look at your face.
Why?
All right, so I've eaten sheep's intestines. I've eaten some, I think it was cows. Is it cow's testicle?
Did
and
you
these
know
are
did you know what it was before you ate it?
Yeah. But it was cooked. It was cooked.
I don't care if it's cooked. Man.
Yeah, and things like that are all right, I guess. I've eaten, like, well, not sheep's eyes, but fish eyes.
Oh.
Fish eyes are like a delicacy in certain parts of the world. So
well, they can keep it, thank you. Not for me.
They're actually really good for you as well.
No, thank you. Where's the scientific evidence? Oof.
Google. But yeah, things that are raw, no. Things that are like spiders, scorpions, things like that, grasshoppers, no. I'm good without that.
Okay, what is the worst thing you've ever tasted?
I don't even know.
I mean, for me, there's like a whole heap of things. Brussels sprouts, baked beans, you know, fish.
Come on, Brussels sprouts are amazing.
They're my worst nightmare.
I mean, all right, the most recent that I can remember was in 2017. I was in Argentina. We went to a really intimate dinner party, it's called Steak by Louis, and you go to his penthouse, and it's like he caters for, I think, 16 people each night, and you don't know anyone else there apart from the person that you're going with. But you all sit around one long table, and you just like make friends and you talk. And unless they can't speak English at all, then then that's game over. But it was a really good experience. And the first course was empanadas, which are like beef and chicken mince in like a pastry.
Okay.
And they're like deep fried. They were amazing. Loads of wine and cheese, like you'd love it. Then you get some fat steak, really fat steak, which is cooking fresh over like hot coals with a few sides. But before that, there's a few other courses. There's a salad course, which is just like a huge salad. There's a special cheese, like Spanish cheese, which they melt, and they just literally, you might have seen videos of it on social media.
Just slide it off.
Yeah, they just slide it onto your plate.
I'd take you just slide it straight into my
mouth. Seriously, it's amazing. And then came out a platter of different types of delicacies, and that's where the sheep's intestine was. So it was kind of a weird tasting. Oh, I just remembered one. Chicken heart. Yeah, chicken hearts. had it a few times actually, but it just tastes like you. It's a very metallic taste. I think that's because of the blood or whatnot. But yeah, it's.
Would you ever be vegetarian or vegan?
Hell no.
No, I don't get that
No.
either. I'm definitely a meat lover. Meat and cheese are the two staple things in my diet I couldn't live without. If it was a medical reason and the doctor said to me, I'm not being funny, love, you got to give up meat or you got to give up cheese, well, life ain't worth living without them two things, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I definitely couldn't do that. Like you, Soph. I can go out. I can go a few days without eating it because I do believe in like giving your body a break. You know, I kind of think that eating meat every day, it's actually not good for your body because it takes your body a long time to process meat. Especially with like veg and stuff being so high in fiber, it's probably a good thing for for it to flush you out sometimes. So I do like to give my body a break sometimes. But no, I definitely couldn't be fully vegetarian. I start having withdrawal and
Oh yeah, I went 2 weeks without meat and I started get twitching, you know.
I just get angry. I just get angry.
I've got to ask, how did you even find out about this dinner with Louis for 16 people? Like,
So I kind of knew someone that had been to Argentina before, or goes there quite a few times for business anyway. And she mentioned it. And then when I was out there, it wasn't even on my list of restaurants, to be honest, but we were looking for somewhere on our second night, I think, in Buenos Aires, and just contacted them and they had 2 spare seats.
right, it was meant to be then. Was the dude Louis actually there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He's
get in.
very cool, very friendly guy, and a very talented chef as well.
Oh, he's the actual chef.
Yeah.
Oh, get in.
Yeah.
Well, I never. All right, so we're going to skip to this next part now because we've done 1F, the food, we've covered that. Then we're going to go to the opposite side. You also are a fashion blogger. Where's that come from?
So I've always been into fashion from a young age. Like I remember in my early teens, you know, everyone's like, oh, what do you want to do when you're older? And I was just like, I have no idea. And then I remember thinking, I'm really like into clothes and stuff. Like when I was about 14, 15 years old, I was like, I like picking out certain items when I'm going shopping. And obviously back then you're living on pocket money, aren't you?
Yeah,
but then
paper round money.
Well, yeah, or like an odd tenner here and there for like washing the dishes or something.
Oh my God, you got paid a tenner for washing dishes. Jeez, I lived in the wrong house, man.
No. But then it got to the point where when I was 16, I started working in retail, in fashion retail. And in my first year, and this was only part-time during school, college, and so on. But after my first year, I started training with visual merchandisers. And I think at that point, my interest in it increased. And I was like, well, the time is coming now for me to choose what to do at university. So maybe I should choose something along the lines of fashion. But even like, honestly, like, you know, it being from an Asian household, that could have been kind of frowned upon and so on and so forth. But my parents aren't like that at all. But I thought about it more myself and I just thought I think I talked myself out of it at a very young age. I was like, it's too competitive. I don't think I've got what it takes. And you know, it's a downward spiral from that point. So instead I used to just sketch certain things, you know, whatever comes into my imagination. And I thought, yeah, one day we'll see. Anyway, went to uni, did something completely different as you do. And then never really thought about it ever since. But then I started blogging about it about 10, 11 years ago. And then you just get busy with other things. You know, my career started taking off in like banking and so on. So I was like, right, I ain't got time for this. But then, yeah, in the last 6 months or so, I thought I've just been sleeping on my passion for fashion. So why don't I can't create clothes. I can't draw that well. So why don't I just showcase my own fashion sense to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I started my Instagram page. Now, this is something, because I know one or two lads that also did this at the start of lockdown last year, and they've got a huge following. Like this crazy the way Instagram works, and you know this yourself, you know, if you don't search for certain things on Instagram, the algorithm just doesn't show it to you.
Mm.
So like on my food page, it's just food and fitness constantly. On my fashion page, the minute you start always searching for clothing related stuff or men's fashion, which is what my stuff is about, or other male fashion influencers, that's all Instagram will then show you.
Mm.
So there is a whole hidden world of other guys doing exactly the same thing. And it blew my mind, like honestly blew my mind. There are hundreds, thousands of men doing this same thing from their home or whatnot. And yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. But
So you've got like a whole little man clothing community going on.
yeah, definitely. And it's great to pick up ideas from. It's great to showcase what you're wearing, which retailers, you know, or designers you're wearing, giving other people ideas. And that's what, you know, that's essentially what Instagram was built for. Instagram was built as a mood board.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't about, oh, here's a selfie of me with my mates on, you know, out on the piss.
Oh man.
But so yeah, I think with fashion and aesthetics, it's kind of like taking it back to basics.
What is it that you like? Like, is it putting outfits together? You know, are you a designer label person? Do you like to mix like designer and high street? You know, would you design it if you could? I mean, I'm doing a Richard now and just chucking 20 questions at you.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely no harm in mixing designer and high street. I think it's the best thing you can do, to be fair. Some people might disagree. I couldn't really give a shit.
This is just our opinion, folks. We say it on every show.
Yeah. There are some people out there that wear head to toe designer and it looks absolutely terrible. Like
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a small chick, right? I'm not a size 0.
Yeah.
Never have been, never will be. And I find if you want to buy a designer item of clothing, you've got to be a size 8 or under. There's nothing like, I mean, I can't even get a designer handbag to fit. You know, that's how they do it. You know, that's about as good as it gets. Other than that, you know, it's all, yeah.
I don't know. It has got better in terms of
Well,
plus
yeah,
size women
I
men
do
and women.
feel like there's been a blow up of plus size clothing,
Yeah.
you know, and it seems to be a trend. So let's jump on the bandwagon. But the opposite thing, like just talking from a woman's point of view now, I saw on I think it's Karen Millen, right? Instagram page. She's got a plus size range now. And I mean, gosh, somebody's probably going to have something to say about my opinion, but I'm just going to say it as it is. My opinion, if someone says to me plus size, I'm thinking like 20, 24, 26. Do you know what I mean? Upwards. But when you have a fashion designer who says, I've got a plus size range and it goes up to a 14, I'm like, whoa, when the fudge is size 14 been plus size? That's average woman, right?
I thought 14 was the UK average now.
Ask Karen Miller, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Millen. Yeah, I mean that's not even that's not even high-end designer, to be fair. So
Well, I mean, what do you know what plus size, what, you know?
I mean, I don't. I mean, I do surprisingly know a fair bit about women's fashion as well. Because I don't think you can be selective in fashion. You know, yes, I'm a man. Yes, my go-to is men's clothing. But I've got a lot of knowledge on different types of, you know, even women's wear as well. But when it comes to that kind of stuff and, you know, models and sizing and stuff, that's kind of where my knowledge falls down a bit.
I do feel like many retailers, fashion designers, or whatever you want to call them, they definitely fall short. Now, I know for a fact if I was rich, I'd design my own clothes, right? Because I'm top heavy, right? Let's take the best way to put it. I'm top heavy. And if I get a top that fits my chest, it looks like a sack of spuds everywhere else, because they think if you've got a big chest, you're massive everywhere else. So the sleeves come down here, it's hanging, it's rubbish, you know. That's what annoys me, you know. No women are built the same, hourglass, apple shape, pear shape, whatever. But 9 times out of 10, they just make a standard shape.
Yeah, they do. It's just like a one size fits all, and then it's the same template that just gets bigger as you go up the sizes.
I just got to say, one size
No,
never
well,
fits all.
It definitely doesn't. But I agree with what you're saying, and they need to get better at it. Plus size in men's fashion has now become a thing. They used to call it, they do call it big and tall rather than plus size. They call it big and tall now. So ASOS do that a lot. So whatever, and I've actually, I'm not a big guy, but I think I'm pretty average. But I have bought plus size stuff before, or oversize, because oversize is cut differently. It's meant to be bigger. So it's not going to be like, oh, I'm a medium, so I'll get an extra large. It doesn't work like that. It is larger everywhere, but then it's cut and it's kind of stitched properly where it's meant to be, to cinch you in here, there, and to be fitted in certain parts. So maybe, I don't know. Well, they definitely do women's oversized, because I have 1 or 2 of women's oversized things in my own wardrobe.
For me, women's oversized, being top heavy, it just hangs in all the wrong places, and you look like you're wearing a potato sack, or you look like you're 10 sizes bigger than you actually are. Like my best friend Michaela, when she got married, right, I think she's been married, I want to say 15 years. But anyway, I was like a 14 to 16. I was a bridesmaid. She was like, come to the wedding shop. Now I thought what would happen is the woman would find a dress that fits it like here, and then she would just shape it everywhere else. Do you know what I mean? When they make to measure. So I went in, we had strapless dresses, like fitted at the top, out a little bit, just above the knee. And she was like, okay, why don't you try this one? What size are you? I said 14 to 16, but let's go 18, because I thought these boobs, they ain't going to go anywhere. I always have to up the sizes. So she bought the dress, put it on. Obviously, the zip, there was no bust room, so the zip didn't do up. So I was like, okay, but it fits everywhere else perfectly. So I'm assuming you're just going to take my measurements and nope, I'm going to get you another size. So she went off, bought a 20. The zip still wouldn't go up past these bad boys, right? Remember, it's too big everywhere else now, right? So she said, don't worry, went off, got the next size up. Now she's gone 4 sizes bigger than what I am, but these boobs ain't going anywhere. So I said to her, listen, go back to the first dress. Like, I'm getting anxious now and taking it a little bit personal, because I ain't that big. Not that there's anything wrong with big women. Let me get that out there. So I said to her, just go back to the first dress. It's fine everywhere else. Just make adjustments around the chest where you need to. Do you know what she did? It's fine, love. Don't worry, because we go up to a size 32, and went off. I cried. I stood in the changing room and I cried. Then Michaela was like, you all right, dude? She was like, oh my God, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm not a size 32. You know, she literally made me feel like a freak, you know?
Yeah. And but remember, like, that again, it goes back to, not what you say, it's the way you say it, right?
Yeah.
So the best thing that they can do at that point is, give you a size 32, measure you up around the bust area, but then pin you up everywhere else, and then get it tailored that way, so you're still fitted from everywhere else. But she could have said it like that.
I'm damn sure I'm not the only woman out there in the world. It's like, I look at famous people like Katie Price, or Coco, who's with Ice-T. She's like boobs and bum, and their clothes fit where they're meant to fit, in all the right places. Fit. Whereas I would buy something, if it fits there, it don't fit there, so it must be down to money, right?
I don't think it's down to to some extent, yes, because you can get your clothes personally made by designers, perhaps, or you'll just have a weigh-in or some local designers that will help you out. But I think it's also down to their actual body size, and if it's big boobs, most of them are probably fake boobs.
No fake boobs here.
No, I'm not saying with you, but on a celebrity level.
Well,
Let's be
yeah,
honest.
those women I
Yeah,
did mention, they've got some silicon going on in there, but you know,
yeah,
it is a nightmare. Do you know what? It's a real bad. It really deflates your confidence, right? Because
yeah.
if I was to go into a shop and be like, this is a true story, I really like that top. Let's take into consideration the boobs, so let's get the next size up, right? You get it down to here. Okay, I really like that top, so let's go another size up. You get it on, oh my God, you still haven't even got one boob in there yet, never mind two. And by that point, I'm thinking, do you know what? Forget it. It's not worth it because I am not that big, you know. And like I said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with women being big. You know, there are big, beautiful women out there. Me personally, I don't want to buy clothes that are 4 or 5 sizes bigger than I am because I'm not that big. So why should I have to, you know?
No, I agree. And until you find a designer or a brand that kind of caters to your size, stick to what you know. Stick to what you know.
Does men have the same issue?
I can't speak for bigger men, although I have been bigger at some times of my life. But at that point, I think I was in denial, and I'd still try and get.
Oh no, connection issue. How can this be happening? Not today on my first show by myself. Oh, he's back. Sorry, you went then.
Sorry.
We lost the connection and I was getting panicky, like, oh my God, my first show on my own and you've gone. Come back, come back.
But yeah, I don't think it's a tough one. Like I said, a lot of retailers have started releasing oversized and big and small sizes now. So there is a lot more kind of variety for bigger guys. And I think if you are bigger and you like a certain design of something, you know, whilst it's available for you or to you, go for it. But
are you one of these people that has a summer wardrobe and a winter wardrobe?
absolutely. Right now, I did the swap over about a month ago. So right now, cupboard is full of summer and spring and maybe a bit of winter, because let's face it, it's England.
So you literally swap the whole wardrobe?
Not the whole wardrobe, just like probably about half of it goes and comes, you know, put it into either my spare bedroom because I've got a cupboard in there, or
a
couple of suitcases in the loft.
I've got 365 days a year wardrobe, and if it gets cold, I add a cardigan, and if it don't, I take it off. That's as good as I get. So, yeah. Fashion questions. Who's your favorite designer?
Tom Ford.
What is your favorite garment that you own?
All right, so for me, I can't answer this question quickly. I have two major like kind of loves. So it's shoes and like sneakers,
trainers,
and coats.
Okay.
I've got a lot of coats. So yeah, but my favorite item that I own, either my Balenciaga trainers, my Triple S trainers, or my Tom Ford tux.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
A bit like old James Bond. What is your most expensive item?
The Tom Ford tux.
Dare we ask? When I say we, I mean me and Rich. Dare we ask how much it was?
I don't normally.
Ballpark figure?
Couple of grand.
By a couple, you probably mean a few, right?
Maybe.
And how many times have you actually worn it?
Twice.
Would you wear it again?
Yeah, definitely. But it deserves an occasion, a proper occasion.
Do you keep it in a bag, like one of them suit bags?
Yep. Yeah. It's in a bag. And then in another dust-free bag. Yeah, it's safe.
Nice. Okay, so one last question before I let you go. If you had to choose just one, food or fashion, which one's it going to be?
No, it's definitely gonna be food. Food. I love food too much. Fashion, like, it's great. It's interesting. It's a hobby, and I am like really interested, and I'm very knowledgeable on it. And I like to look good, but food is food is something else to me.
Food is
Like,
life.
yeah,
You can't
food
live
gets me
without
right
food.
here. Food gets me right here.
No, food gets me right here, like in the stomach, just bypasses the heart and goes straight. Exactly. Food gets me right there. Okay, so I'm going to put all of the links and everything to your social media account, but tell everyone, where can they find you?
So you can find me at the Peckish Pig _ on Instagram. That is my main page for food. And I'm also changing my page up a little bit now anyway.
Food
So it's
one.
the food one, yeah. So it's going to include more about what I'm up to. And I might actually start to incorporate some of the fashion side of it too. Because managing 2 accounts is just too much work. Way
I've
too
got
much work.
9. I've got 9.
But in the meantime, the fashion page is Hom at Home, which is, well, it's called Hom at Home, but the tag on Instagram is officialroysta.
Would
And
you
that,
would you have just one account at some point to have food and fashion in the same umbrella?
I would I would love to, but the one thing I've learned is that it's best to have a niche on Instagram, because people like to follow what they're interested in. And if you kind of start throwing too much at them, it clutters their feed, and they're more likely just to unfollow you or
Agreed.
or mute your story or your posts, and that kind of defeats the purpose in having a following.
I couldn't imagine anybody wanting to mute you, Ro.
Well, I'd hope not, Soph.
Well, I'm going to say thanks for joining me on the first show by myself.
Thanks
When
for
Mitch
having
is
me.
back, you will definitely be coming back, because I know that he will have so much more. Like, I won't give too much away, but a little while ago he went to a place and bought loads of different exotic meats, right?
Really?
But he
Yeah.
won't talk about them, not even to me off air, because he's waiting to talk to you. Like, a couple of weeks ago he had ostrich burger, and I was like, oh, how did it taste? I can't tell you. I'm waiting for the show when Roy comes on, then we're going to talk about it together. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
Well,
yeah.
hopefully by that point I would have cooked a few more weird and wonderful dishes, because, like, yeah, I make a lot of comfort food, and present it nicely, if you like. A lot of food that people want to see, a lot of food that people want to eat. But I do also love to do fine dining at home. And so, it takes a bit more time and a bit more effort, a few more different techniques, but I think that's what I want to start pushing myself to more. Because cooking a good, I don't know, a good steak, or this, that, and the other, or a good Thai meal, I love that. Love to eat it, love to put it out there, but I want to start showing some real skill. So by the time I'm on next, maybe that will be
You will have upped your game.
yeah, that's a plan.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And now
Really
put
good.
all your details on our socials.
Perfect.
All right. Thanking you, Roy.
Thanks, Soph.
Oh, bless him. Love some Roy Rowe. His name, his official name is Roy, but it's Rohit. But under his socials, he's called Roe. So don't want to get it wrong. Well, this has been very odd. My co-host, I feel like my arm is missing. I'd love to know what you thought of the show. If you've got any suggestions, if you want to be a guest, if you want to join me, keep me company in the next few weeks, that would be great. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you've got any messages or anything for Rich, feel free to message him on our socials, on the channel. If you know him on a personal level, message him. He will get back to you. I want to say when he's ready. I don't want that to sound rude, but when he's ready, and when he feels up to it, he will get back to you. So yeah, this was the first show across the pond with Rich and Soph, with just Soph. Hope it wasn't too bad for you guys. And I will be back next Sunday for another show. Please tune in. Please stay on the journey with us. This is just a little minor setback, like a glitch. We're still both here. Rich still has input in everything that we're doing, social media, topics, anything like that. The only thing is he's just not on camera, but he's still here and he's still flying the flag across the pond. So thank you for joining me. I'm not going to play the jingle while he's not here because I don't feel it's right. So there'll be no jingle for the next few weeks either. Sorry, Knox. You know we love you. We love the jingle. It's just not the same. But thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for coming here today. We'll see you next Sunday. He's still Rich. I'm Soph, and we're still across the pond. Yepper.